Alright, hi, how's it going? And welcome to part 3 in my video on Korea. If you're still watching this video, I thank you for watching. Where I left off last time is I was talking about the military strength between North Korea and the United States. And as I mentioned, the U.S. military is definitely a lot larger and, well, pretty close to the same size in terms of manpower, but definitely a lot more advanced and sophisticated. There's no denying that. And other thing I did want to mention, a lot of stuff on North Korea. A lot of information has come out. Like right now, for example, relations between North Korea and China are at an all-time low. Apparently, the current head of China, Peng, he does not like Kim Jong-un. He does not like him at all, and that's definitely put a strain between the two countries. Before that, Kim Jong-il and the president of China, Jiang Zemin, actually got along pretty well. They were trading partners, things were pretty good, but right now relations between, like I said, Kim Jong-un and the head of China, Peng, are not good at all. And Trump is probably, as far as I know, is trying to take advantage of that and, weaken relations between China and North Korea even more to ultimately, cut off North Korea's lifeline to China and ultimately cripple the economy even more, and maybe that would in turn allow for a reunification of the Korean Peninsula. Ultimately, like I said, I believe in the last video that the Korean War, well, wouldn't be a second war, it would be a continuation because the Korean War never ended. So ultimately, I believe that there would be a reunification of the Korean Peninsula. Probably what would happen if there was a war is a lot of North Koreans, my guess, would defect from North Korea to South Korea once they see what South Korea has. Once they see all the things South Korea has to offer. Because, like I said before, if you own like DVDs or movies, strongly forbidden in North Korea. You could be executed even for owning DVDs and movies, because it would enable you to see how South Korea is, and then you'd want to defect. People in North Korea are kept completely in the dark as to how the outside world is. And that's why it kind of has this nickname, the Hermit Kingdom, because they're really kept in the dark and not allowed to see the way the rest of the outside world works. In fact, even the internet didn't even make its way to North Korea until 2010. And supposedly Kim Jong-un has even created this whole unit, possibly anywhere from 6,000 to 8,000 of these like cyber hackers. And he's been doing this, for a little while now. And, North Korean TV, only 5 stations. People have to get their hair cut a certain way. Typically, like in a lot of these documentaries, you'll see a lot of like parades and marching, where you'll see, the male and female soldiers. Then you'll see these trucks with big missiles on them, and then the tanks. Then you'll see these women wearing all these like colorful dresses and whatnot. And that's what you see in a lot of the documentaries, and they only show you what they want you to see. Now, supposedly Kim Jong-il had this massive DVD collection, over 20,000 different movies. He was really a big fan of movies, but of course, no one else could see movies. But he had this massive collection of them, and he apparently even abducted a South Korean filmmaker and enforced the South Korean filmmaker to make these like Godzilla type movies, or these movies that were centered around this like Godzilla type character. It's going to be like the North Korean version of Godzilla, this character. And apparently South Korean filmmaker managed to escape back into South Korea, but it's kind of like kidnapped, brought there, and he did manage to escape. But yeah, just a lot of strange things. I mean, another thing I should add is sometimes you'll hear people refer to North Korea as a theocracy, but technically it would be considered the world's only neckocracy, because the first leader of North Korea, Kim Il-sung, is regarded as this divine figure, and they even start their calendar with his birth date. And his, so right now the year in North Korea is 105. Starting it, like I said, with his birth date. So that would technically be what you call a neckocracy, and North Korea is the world's only neckocracy. And that's greatly revering, an individual who had died, starting your calendar year with his birth, believing all his teachings and sayings religiously, and even, for example, Bibles are strongly forbidden in North Korea, and you could be executed for having a Bible in North Korea. Now, the thing about that is, Christian missionaries have actually had more success converting Koreans to Christianity than they have in any other Asian nation. Particularly Presbyterian and Catholic. That's why even in the United States you'll see a lot of Korean Presbyterian churches. It's because Presbyterian missionaries had converted a lot of Koreans to become Presbyterians. But Catholicism as well. But definitely I did want to mention that as well. But yeah, so a lot of strange things in North Korea. Like I said, you can see a lot of documentaries. I mentioned in the last video that Vice and Shane Smith had actually put out a documentary on North Korea. They put out a couple of them, and I know there was one where they actually went into a North Korean logging camp, but the logging camp was in Siberia, but the North Koreans had no idea they were in Siberia. It was just this logging camp in Siberia. Very, very, very strange. Vice used to do a lot of things like that. They had to have all these interesting stories and whatnot about what was going on. But yeah, that definitely did want to add that. But ultimately, if there is a war, I do believe that the peninsula would be unified, and South Korea would control the whole peninsula. But as it is right now, and as it stands, that's certainly not the case. North Korea, it's not even really a very big nation. I mean, if you were to compare it to a U.S. state, it'd be about the size of Pennsylvania. So it's really not all that big. But definitely do hear a lot about it. Largely is due to the fact that they're shooting off a lot of missiles and really creating a lot of, attention by doing that. And they've been doing that and stuff like that for a while. So some people kind of think that they're just trying to put on a display and creating these scare tactics, and that there ultimately wouldn't be a war. But who knows? There's really no way to tell if there would or wouldn't. But yeah, ultimately North Korea is considered to be the most corrupt regime on the planet, along with Somalia. Somalia and North Korea are tied for the most corrupt regime that you have on this planet. So yeah, that's all I've got with this video. If you watched my videos, I thank you for watching. Thank you for getting this far if you watched all three. But if you want to, please feel free to click the subscribe button. But yeah, as always, if you watch my videos, I thank you for watching. Have a good night.